Protests against police brutality and racism staged in Sydney. Eagle News correspondent Samantha DeMillo has the details.
This is Samantha DeMillo, and right now we are witnessing the protest, the peaceful protest for the Indigenous lives, the solidarity with the Black community in the US and around the world, for the cessation of police brutality, systematic oppression, and racism. On the afternoon of June 6, 2020, an estimate of 40 to 50,000 Australians joined the Black Lives Matter protest march, contingent to stop all Black deaths in custody, rally and vigil, in Sydney's Town Hall, New South Wales. Although discouraged by the government because of the existing restrictions of no public gatherings of more than 10, it was an authorised assembly by the Court of Appeals. The event was held in solidarity to the Black Lives Matter movement in the US, which was further fueled now by what happened to George Floyd, who was killed during an arrest by the police in Minneapolis. To recall, on the 25th of May 2020, he died uttering the words, "I can't breathe," which marked the international human rights movement to once again fight for justice and campaign against violence and systemic racism. The tragic event reminded the world to avoid staying silent and rather use their voices in raising awareness that Black lives matter. Moreover, this event was held to show support to the Aboriginal community and to highlight and put an end to the Black deaths in custodies on our own Australian soils.
Your thoughts from today?
This is the most amazing march I've ever been in for our country and for our people all over the world. It needs to be said and needs to be done. Finally, we need peace and harmony.
As protesters marched through the city, they chanted, "Whose lives matter? Black lives matter. George Floyd. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. No justice, no peace, no racist police." Whilst holding signs with writings to express their passion, they also held Aboriginal flags, and a number of speeches were spoken to the audience, as well as Indigenous instruments being played. In honour of their cause, they knelt down on their knees with their fists raised up high. For the protection against COVID-19, majority of the protesters were wearing masks, as well as handing them out for anyone that needed them. Australia is known as a lucky country and a multicultural country. During the 1950s, international moral outrage was growing globally due to the mistreatment and inhumane acts of the Black populations, including Australia. Since the European invasion of Australia in 1788, Aboriginal people have had their own history of oppression, incarceration and slavery for more than 200 years. Several grassroots of Indigenous organizations were established to the growing sense of urgency for national action to advocate against discrimination and campaign constitutional change. The march significantly plays a role on the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, as it is a way to highlight and emphasize the ongoing mistreatment and injustices still experienced to this day. Reporting from Sydney, Australia, this is Samantha DeMillo. We live in interesting times.